The judge had to determine who to believe, a Chicago police sergeant with 20 years on the force or a woman with a history of drug abuse. Both took the stand. Ultimately, it was the sergeant's own words that sank his credibility.
During his trial, John Herman testified that the only sex he had with his, quote, sex friend was consensual, and that she later cried rape because she was a crack addict, angling for money.
It doesn't matter if you're addicted to crack. You don't get to be raped by a Chicago police sergeant. So it was coming down to her versus a Chicago police sergeant. When he took that stand, I believe he lied.
And that is also what the judge believed. Judge Joseph Clapp stood behind his bench this afternoon and called Herman's testimony unreasonable and nothing short of perjury. He then found the 20-year police officer guilty of rape, kidnapping, and official misconduct. Herman grimaced, took a deep breath, and bowed his head. And he appeared stunned when the judge immediately revoked his bond. Deputies then walked Herman out of the courtroom and into custody.
He's shocked. I told him that I would come over and see him at the jail. We'd go over the issues that are apparent to me for purposes of appeal.
The judge said that despite some minor inconsistencies, he believed Herman's accuser, whose claim was bolstered by DNA evidence.
I think that she has to be relieved, and she has to have a renewed sense of faith in the justice system.
In addition to convicting Herman, Judge Claps also rebuked two Chicago police detectives who took the stand on Herman's behalf. Claps called their testimony unbelievable and said, "I'll be sending a copy of their testimony to the superintendent of police for review." The rape occurred 3.5 years ago while Sergeant Herman was on duty. Herman and the city of Chicago are being sued in federal court.
While we are very, very extremely grateful to the judge for his remark and for his desire, we also know the way Chicago Police Department works.
That civil case is scheduled to begin in February in federal court. It presents the possibility of yet another financial judgment against the city for an action by a police officer. As for the two detectives whose testimony in the case was rejected by Judge Claps as being unbelievable and incredible, the police department says it will investigate their testimony and their actions in the case. As for John Herman, the former sergeant is no longer being paid. He is now behind bars and is looking minimally at 18 years in prison, about the length of time he was on the force.
All right, Paul, thank you. The Reverend Al Sharpton is threatening to